Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Gosh, I haven't been on in a little while. I want to welcome everybody who's live. Let me know where you're joining in from. And oh my goodness, it's been a few weeks. I actually took a much needed vacation, and it was just so great to be away and rejuvenate and rebuild my energy, just like I teach all of you to do. And I am coming back excited. And first day of spring yesterday, though it's raining here in New Hampshire yesterday and today. But I am just so grateful to be here and just support each and every one of you. And one of the things is with spring, what comes with spring? So many of us are looking to do a detox, are feeling like, we're getting into the summer months and we want to feel our best and we want to boost our energy because maybe we felt a little bit of, low energy throughout our time in the winter months, right? The fall into the winter months in Chinese medicine, that's all about like hibernation, going inner, being more yin, all of that energy. And then as we start to step into spring and summer, it's more of a yang energy, right? Stepping outside of, who we are, doing more things, being busier. Now, most of us have moved our clocks. I realize there's some states that don't move their clocks. And so we have more light, which is super amazing. And so today it just really made sense that I get to join to you and speak to you all about having a spring detox blueprint to cleanse your body and truly begin to reclaim and rebuild that energy for, the months ahead and reset your metabolism. Because really, you're not just tired, you could be toxic. And I think that's what a lot of people don't really realize, that being around radiation, some of the foods we eat, the toxicity we breathe. Unfortunately, I'm like a really positive person, as many of you know, but we are in a toxic environment and world. We have to be careful where are we getting our foods? Are they being sprayed with pesticides? What sort of makeup or soap are we washing with? Are we creating toxicity in the body, right? So it's really a great time in the spring to do a hard reset. And why does detox matter now? When we think about spring, it's really the season of renewal. It's when the earth begins to wake up. We begin to plant our seeds, our flowers begin to bloom, and everything starts to feel fresh. So I want your body to feel that way, right? So I say, but what about your body? If we start to see that the universe is bringing us these beautiful flowers, how about if we start to plant seeds and start to remove those toxins that are creating fatigue in the body, right? So if you are feeling sluggish or even bloated or plain exhausted before your feet even hit the floor in the morning, it's just not about you getting older or you're aging or you're just stressed, right? It could be that your body is bogged down by toxins that have been building up for months and maybe even years if you've never taken the time or thought about really using a detox program and stepping in and detoxing your body, right? So please feel free, those of you that are live right now, welcome. And drop any questions in the chat as we go along, because I love this to be interactive so that I can support you, because that's truly what I'm here to do. Here's the deal. Your body was designed to detox, right? Every single second, your liver and your kidneys and your gut and your skin and your lungs are working to eliminate toxins. But like the world we live in today, it's overloading our detox pathways faster than we can handle. And if you have a methylation detox challenge, a genetic challenge, then it makes it even more difficult to actually detox. So that's a test that I do. It's called the methylation detox panel to see, do you have a genetic SNP that's causing you not to be able to detox as the body should. So I want to break it down so you can exactly see what's happening in your body and how you can fix it. So are you ready to actually learn and dive in? So I want to ask you, what do you think is really making you feel like not yourself, feeling heavy, feeling bloated? And really think about, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling vibrant and vital and energetic? Or are you waking up tired even after you know you've had an amazing deep REM sleep? Or is your digestion off? Meaning, like, you eat food, after you eat food, anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 minutes after, you get bloating, or you're constipated, you have sluggish bowels, you're not going 2 to 3 times a day, or are you experiencing acid reflux? Those are some symptoms that might say, hey, alarm symptom, your digestion is off. The other one that I think about with detox is, are you struggling with thinking clearly? Like, is there brain fog? Do you have like mood swings? One minute you're calm and peaceful, and then you get triggered and you become irritable and anxious or even depressed? Or are you crying easily? Or do you have low motivation, like you just can't get yourself going? And then what I'm also thinking of is, this is not related to digestion, but just in general, are you feeling puffy or like inflamed, like you can't get your rings on, right? Like sometimes when you travel and you land and you're trying to take your rings off, they feel all swollen. Maybe you haven't drank the water that you need, but that's what I mean from inflammation, right? Or, you're eating the same foods, but you go to put your pants on and you feel like your body is actually holding that extra weight. So if you said yes to some of these symptoms, there's more, I'm just trying to do an overview. If you said yes, your body is probably struggling to clear out toxins that have been adding up over time. Does that make sense? Right. So you're saying to me, well, Dr. Donahue, where are these toxins coming from? Well, let's talk about your daily toxic load. And I always suggest, when you listen to me talk, I would take out a piece of paper and write notes. Like, that's what gets you to like really think about what I'm talking about. You might not even realize your daily toxic load that could be affecting your everyday life, and your health. So if you're eating processed foods, and be honest with yourself, I am not judging. The truth is that I want you to actually feel your best. That is my goal, and that's what I do. So processed foods are filled with preservatives, often pesticides, artificial colors, and chemicals that disrupt your gut health. And often, quite honestly, I'm whispering, but you probably can't digest them, right? It's just like, there's so many food sources out there. Like, if you can't read what's on a label and it's hard for you to actually describe it, or you can't pronounce it, probably not a healthy food, right? Probably not a food that you can digest. The other thing I want you to think about is sugar. Well, I get so many times, Dr. Donahue, I don't eat sugar. But like, I was talking to a patient yesterday and I said, have you gotten off your food plan? Right. And he said, no, not really. But the more we talked about it, he was eating more starches. He was eating more rices, which are not bad for you, but you got to figure out a balance that works for you. Why am I saying that? To the body, that's sugar, right? So many patients will be like, I'm not eating sugar, but then we start looking at their simple carb load, and that is sugar as well. So that's why I always want to bring that up. So what does sugar do? It's going to suppress your immune system. It can cause gut inflammation, imbalancing your healthy gut microbiome, and it can throw your hormones out of whack, right? Sugar is not your friend, but yet so many people are craving sugar even after a quality meal, and they don't understand why. It's because you're eating too much for your body, or you could be exhausted and you're just grabbing that extra energy boost until you crash. The other thing that is so important when I do an evaluation with a patient to see, like, is it time for us to detox? Could you be full of toxins? I'm asking, like, what sort of environmental toxins are you around? We know we're all around pesticides. Even me, as clean as I try to eat, many times you're eating from plastics, drinking from plastic water bottles, getting take home in plastic, right? Like, that was a big one that I recently learned, that those black plastic boxes are made out of automotive parts and things, like gross. And then they're putting our takeout food in there. We also have heavy metals. There's pollution all around us. And you know what? Another big one that I find in patients all the time when we're digging deep to healing them is mold exposure. And all of these can overload your liver. And the last one that I want to talk about, that I talk about all the time, is poor sleep with chronic stress. That truly weakens your detox pathways, and it leads to toxin buildup, and it weakens our immune system, like we talked about with the sugar. Your body, I want you to remember that it can only handle so much. And when toxins aren't getting cleared out properly, they're getting stored in as fat tissues and even in your brain, right? So they're going into the cells and the tissues and even your brain. And what does this lead to? All these symptoms we just talked about: fatigue and exhaustion, weight gain and bloating, skin breakouts, acne, premature aging, brain fog. You can't focus. You're all over the place, and even hormone imbalances. But here's the good news. You can reverse this. So when you begin to support your detox organs and you remove those biggest sources of toxicity, once you're able to connect to what that is, your energy will come back. Your digestion is going to improve when you're eating foods that your body wants. I can tell you all day long, I see patients' skin clear up and their metabolism is getting on track. Does that make sense? Any questions coming up? Again, those of you that are live with me, don't hesitate to drop questions in the chat and I will answer them once we're done. So the next step I want to talk about is, you're probably saying, but how does my body detox? And how are some people just getting it wrong? So most people, when they come to me and they're like, Dr. Donnie, I think I want to do a detox, they think that detox is about drinking a juice for 3 days and they're just going to do a detox to lose weight. That's wrong. That is not wrong. Real detox happens in 2 phases, 1, 2, right? If you don't support both of those, then toxins can get stuck in your system. Does that make sense? So phase 1 is liver activation. We are beginning to mobilize your toxins. And this is where your liver takes toxins from food, the air you breathe, personal care products, and even hormones, and starts breaking them down. But here's the problem. Where toxins get broken down in phase 1, they become highly reactive inflammatory. I want you to hear that. They become highly reactive and inflammatory. So if you don't move them, they can cause more damage. So how do we support phase 1? I think about cruciferous vegetables, which are broccoli and cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. I'm also supporting patients with turmeric and green tea, and then silymarin, which is milk thistle, that protects the liver. All of those those are liver protective. B vitamins, if you remember in the very beginning, I talked about the methylation pathway. You need particular B vitamins for proper enzymatic reactions, right? For your body to naturally detox. So those are so important in phase 1. Or if you do like the Core Restore detox program that I talk about on my website, those protein powders actually naturally detox. And I am actually starting a detox on Monday. For those of you that want to start with me, you are welcome. So when I look at phase 2, this is what I call the final flush, right? We're actually beginning to eliminate toxins. So as your toxins are broken down, your body is now going to need to package them up and remove them. They need to move through the body and get out of the body. So how does that happen? Your bowel movements. Fiber helps bind and carry your toxins out. So many patients are doing these juice cleanses, but they're not having bowel movements. They're not drinking enough water. They're not really moving them. And they think, oh, and then they just go back, and that's going to be later, but then they just go back to eating the way they were eating. Do you really think you did a good detox? Probably not. So you want to make sure that your bowels are moving. Another way that your body moves out toxicity is urination. Your kidneys truly filter waste. So you want to make sure you're drinking enough quality filtered water, not water from plastics. Remember, plastics, those plastic water bottles, microplastics are floating around in the water. You're drinking them. And now there is research and they're being seen in the arteries and even in the heart areas. So you want to drink quality water. One of the best ways that I use for patients to detox heavy metals is in an infrared sauna. I get them to sweat. And I also have them do Epsom salt baths, magnesium chloride baths at home with warm water, right? So those are phase 2. That's how we now move those toxicity. We move them through the body. Does that make sense? Right. So some of the foods that I look at when I'm supporting phase 2, as well as some other products, I'm looking at sulfur-rich foods like garlic and onions and eggs. I'm also looking for amino acids like glycine, taurine, and glutamine. And many of the Core Restore Detox program that I take patients through, which is on my website. I can drop a link in the chat for you to take a peek at it. But those are going to be in those powders to help you do phase 2 detoxification. And the other one is glutathione, or N-acetylcysteine is a precursor to glutathione, and that is your master detox antioxidant. So if phase 2 isn't working properly, then toxins can get reabsorbed back into your bloodstream and stored again in fat cells, leading to weight gain again, inflammation, and hormone imbalances. So as you can see, it's so important to move these toxins through the body and not get them stuck, right? They need to move through. The other thing that I also think about is on some of these weight loss medications that we're doing, like Ozempic and Mounjaro and, all of these, you're dropping weight so fast. But then we know, like I just talked about in the beginning, that toxicity is stored in fat cells. And then some of these medications are causing constipation. That's what clearly scares me. We're dumping all these fat cells. We're losing all this weight. But where are the toxins going? Are we clearly clearing these out of our body, right? So this would be another good time, and I'm not diagnosing or treating, but that might be another good thing to check in and see, like, am I actually removing the toxicity from when I'm breaking down fat and losing weight? So now my next step, which I look at, is step 3. This is days 14 to 21 when we're looking at when I plan it out for a patient. It is not about deprivation. It is not about not eating. It is about eating the right foods so that you can clear out toxins and truly nourish your body with the right nutrients, right? It's not starving yourself. It's not just juicing. It's not taking in fiber. So then you'll say to me, well, Dr. Donahue, what does a real detox look like? This is what it looks like. Removing inflammatory foods. So what are those? We're looking at like sugars and processed foods that have preservatives in them, like we just talked about, processed grains, even dairies, alcohols. I do have patients stop drinking coffee, and seed oils. Like, you want to be familiar with what inflammatory foods you're eating. Then you want to focus on what we talked about a few minutes ago for those that are on. I know people are jumping on, and I want to welcome everybody, but focus on liver supporting foods. So what are those? It's like leafy greens, the cruciferous vegetables. I think of beets, I think of garlic, I think of turmeric, right? Those are all fantastic for the body to help our liver, right? Then we also want to think about hydrating and flushing toxins. So you always hear me say, drink half of your body weight in ounces of water daily. Add some lemon and even a pinch of Himalayan sea salt, or even some apple cider vinegar. That will help. You should be doing this anyway, not only during a detox. You should be drinking enough water. Yesterday, I had a tough time with water, and today I woke up quite sluggish. So the first thing I did was I drank 3 big glasses of water before I ate or I did anything, and then I felt so much better. So lack of water, like I always say, if you think about a sponge and you look at a dry sponge and it's like all crumbly, right? Like you're doing that to your spine. And then you take that sponge and you put it under water and now it's soft and pliable, right? That's what you want your body to be. You don't want it to be dried up and dehydrated. You also want to balance your blood sugar. You want to eat protein and healthy fats as well as good quality vegetables with every meal so you're not preventing energy crashes. And some of my A blood types, the second week in, I actually have them go vegetarian if they feel, do a week of vegetarian or so. But I don't do that with my O's and my B's. I keep them on a really good quality protein diet because they need that for your muscle. Remember, you need 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's an ideal body weight. So if 140 pounds is an ideal body weight, you want to eat 140 grams of protein a day, right? On a high end, on a low end, maybe about 100. And I will tell you, most people don't get enough protein in, and that's going to help you balance your blood sugar. Think about sweating it out. You can do movement where you get perspiration, but remember, if you're feeding your body a little bit less with a detox, then be conscientious of your movement. You can do infrared sauna therapy. You can do magnesium chloride baths. This is helping you eliminate toxins through sweating. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so you're sweating it out. And so that's another way that we detox, right? And then lastly, in this step, I think about prioritizing your gut health. So we're looking at like probiotics, fermented foods, and even fiber to move those toxins out of the body. Why is removing sugar a non-negotiable? We are a sugar country, and it's so sad. Many people come to me because they are craving sugar so bad and they don't know how to detox their sugar cravings. How many people are walking around with undiagnosed diabetes? They have prediabetes. Their sugar imbalances are all over the place. You cannot detox effectively if sugar is in your diet, period, because you're constantly inflaming the gut. Sugar is going to feed that bad bacteria in your gut, and it's going to cause your bloating and your cravings. It's going to spike your insulin to lead to weight gain and inflammation. It also increases fat in the liver. Fat in the liver, which is going to slow down your detoxification. And it also disrupts your sleep. And many times, if you wake up in the middle of the night, it could be that your sugar is dropping, cortisol kicks in, your body thinks it's an emergent state, and you wake up. But here's the good news. Within 14 to 21 days, everybody's different. Some people are 7 days of eliminating sugar. Your energy is going to be stronger. Your bloating is going to be reduced, and your cravings are going to begin to fade. And I would say from day 21 to 28 or 30, they're not going to be there. But as you all know, the first 7 to 14 days are the hardest when you're getting sugar out of your diet. So that is really how I look at detox. I look at it in a healthy manner. Remember, it's not just by drinking juices. It's not by just drinking water. There is research for cancers and doing water fasts and things like that. We're not talking about a fast here. We're talking about encouraging the body to actually detox. So if you are on live with me right now, I want to hear from you. Like, what are some of your questions? Like, if I had a question, I'd be like, how do I detox if I have a busy schedule? What does that look like? I can answer that for you. Are there any questions that are coming up with all of you that are online with me right now? Oftentimes when I don't see questions, either people are afraid to ask questions, but that's what I'm actually here for. Like, I love to have conversations back and forth. You can drop it in the comments and ask me the question, because really this is your chance to reset your body and step into spring feeling lighter and clearer and more alive than ever. Spring is the season of renewal, and you don't want to not waste another day feeling sluggish. It's really time to detox the right way so that you can reclaim your vitality. And hopefully this was helpful. I'm not seeing any chat. I'm not seeing anything in the chats, but let me drop the link for you if you want to learn about this is the detox program I'm going to be doing. I'm just merely sharing it with you. And it's 28 days. You can do 14 days, but this is a 28-day detox. And it talks all about there's messages in here on how I take people through a detox, what the detox actually looks like, and how it can actually support your body. So I'll wait a few more minutes to see if there's any questions around detox, spring renewal, all of those fun things, even like removing sugar cravings, because even if you start to remove sugar, your body's going to naturally detox. Okay, so I am not seeing any questions. So feel free to, I'll drop our email in there. You can email the team. And if the team doesn't know how to answer it, they always ask me. That's my email. You can feel free to email Simple Health if you have any questions. I'm sending you all so much love. And yeah, just really think about like, is a detox what I need? Or even ask your care practitioner, like, would that be helpful? All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend. And thanks so much for spending the last 30 minutes with me, because I know our time is valuable and I appreciate each and every one of you that are on live with me. And I hope you have a beautiful weekend. So much love.